Hello, trading is closed on the 25th of September 2025. We always start with our disclaimer, go over our calls, and then make our predictions. It's my plan for trading on Friday, September 26, 2025. Please trade at your own risk. I can be wrong and my plan can change. Here's what we said. Look for the pattern with the early high. Tomorrow has the early low. We said that the decline was to continue unabated. We needed to gap under recent lows, and we did. So we gapped under lows and traded lower. We did think this target 66, 62.15 was at risk of failing, and it did. When you're in store, 2 times targets fail to print in their preferred time frame, it's almost ubiquitous at major changes in trend, and it's very common during periods of strong impulsive moves. Other than these two, these are the only unfilled targets for the rest of 2025. If I'm right about the top being in, I think we'll certainly see these targets in the 6500s, and I suspect we're going to see the target in the 5900, so I can't be sure. This one, 54.89.50, I really think that's a bridge too far for me. We normally get about 2 or 3 of these a year that won't print, so that might be the one. During the day, MEJT gave a sell signal in the afternoon. Minimum target printed immediately, but nothing says you have to stop there, and that certainly played out. We said if we were going to drop, we had to break under this trend line, the gold trend line. That's a break under the gold trend line. That's a valid break. Now, any move, no matter how strong, needs confirmation. We gap up here tomorrow, that break doesn't count. You really have to go under this close by 1 cent. You just don't have to do it tomorrow. I'm not certain we will. We gapped down, we hit a lower low, closed over all the intervening lows. If that's maintained at the open, it's a bullish pattern. Should have us trading higher, doesn't mean we close higher. And of course, if we gap and take these lows out, that bullish thing goes away. Here was our old FOMC price. When you're dropping, you really want to stay under that price. And even though we traded far under it, we closed just over it. Now there's some leeway here. It isn't exact. But the point is, here was your chance to collapse and stay under this price. And not only couldn't we hold on to these lows, we couldn't hold on to that price. Although again, gapping down tomorrow changes that. For right now, that's a bullish pattern. We gap down. We have some more bullish stuff here. We gap down. At the end of 1 hour of trading, we're almost at the high. That's a bullish pattern. You can fool me. That isn't bullish, but we get the normal result if we do gap up tomorrow. Also, when this high is higher than this high and this high and this pattern, it tends to close at the high a day. Now, it doesn't have to. It's a tendency. It's not a requirement. But there's a tendency for this to gap up tomorrow over this high. Just as there's a tendency when you break through a upsloping trend line in a straight line to return to the line at some point. So we have a possible pattern which could have us gapping up tomorrow and hitting this line, which is around 66.26 cash. Now what I'd like to see, just because I'd like it doesn't mean it'll happen, I'd like to see us gap up, hit the line, hold it, and then reverse and go under today's close. I realize that's a tall order, but if we do gap up, if we do hit that price, I'm going to see if a short position is warranted, because if this is a valid break, I want confirmation as soon as possible. and after we get the return to that line, which I think is almost obligatory, I'd like this collapse confirmed. At least that's what I'm planning to do if we get that move. If we don't get that move, I have to change my plan. Friday's pattern has it really low regardless of where we open. We gapped under a significant trend line. The break needs confirmation by trading under today's close at some point, but for now it's additional confirmation made a top. Doesn't mean we drop every day. The violation of the trend line was a straight line break. My rules say there's a strong tendency for prices to return to that line at some point. Doesn't have to be tomorrow. We gapped down, hit lower low, but closed over intraday lows. The VIX and the NASDAQ McClellan oscillator have traded past their Bollinger Bands. If they reverse through them, and they haven't done that yet, if they reverse through them, we get a buy signal. So what I'd like to see is to go up and then drop, because then they probably won't reverse. We have a possible, capital letters, possible pathway tomorrow of trading up to the trend line around 6,600 cash, reversing from that point. And if that happens, it gives a short entry with a reasonable stop. The trend line is violated significantly. Things aren't going according to plan. I think the general idea is we have much lower to go, and I'm not really a fan of taking long trades when it's this just a few days after we made a top. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to wait for a rally to go short. And we now have a reasonable price, a reasonable pattern. And if we get that price and reverse from that price, I think most of these targets from earlier in the year will be in play. So we'll cross our fingers. We'll see if that happens. If it doesn't play out exactly, we'll have to come up with some other plan. But I think it's a highly likely scenario. I can't say it's forced. It's the pattern with the early low. Maybe a gap and trap. And that's today's call.